We have Sal, FieldTalk Just, and of course me, Mario. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this, or if you're here with us now, welcome. This week or today, we're going to be talking about the Premier League recap for Match Day 5. Interesting sort of events during the weekend, and we'll get to those games in just a second. So yeah, what do you guys think overall of this past Match Day 5?
Oh, it was exciting, actually. We had the shock of the day, which was Norwich, who's my dark horse. I want them to do good regardless, but they beat Man City. And from watching the game, I mean, they had, I think, maybe 2 or 3 of their regular 11 was healthy. Like, they were hurt. Like, they barely had a squad to even play. But they went out there and, I mean, they played their hearts out, man. The fullbacks, remember on Field Talk 1, I told you their fullbacks are quality. The boy with the greatest name in sports right now, Timo Pukki, out there scoring and assisting. And then this, I think he's Argentine. Who's the kid? Buendia. Man, he's good. He can play, man. So for me, it was exciting. We got that Norwich win over Man City. We got Arsenal bottling things. Man United picking up points, even though it was ugly. I mean, it was fun for me. What do you think, Sal?
I mean, that Norwich game, that just speaks volumes. That if teams can play that way against City, we'd have something interesting going on this season.
For sure.
That back play, but City's hurt. They needed to buy players, but we'll get into that when it comes time to get into that. I don't want to get into that now, but
we will get into it, of course, because it was the shocker of the weekend. So we're going to start off with Liverpool and Newcastle, what I'd like to call the boxing bag of the league. They do have a win, I believe, but still they just can't get it together. Liverpool takes it 3-1. And really my question is, will Liverpool continue with this form? And what game ahead of them is going to be the toughest match that they face in the season, like at the beginning of the season? Because so far they've been playing like bottom half of the table kind of team. Mm-hmm. And they keep getting all these wins, and it's doing well for them because they're in first. And we'll get to that later. So what do you guys think is gonna happen with them?
I think Liverpool will find their form sooner or later. It's not going to take them that long. They're still missing Alisson, and that really is the key to goalkeeper. As much as Adrian has been doing well,
really good.
You still need your number one, no matter what. Virgil is still the best center back, I think, in the world, but players have their up and downs. None of these players really had a rest going into the summer. They all were in tournaments, whatever it was that they were playing. So they'll get their form back. Who's their next top 6 opponent? That's the question. And when is it?
Yeah, that's it. I'll look it up. Justin, what do you think is going to happen with Liverpool?
Well, the thing I noticed about them is that as far as an attacking sense, they really haven't seemed to drop off. But I really can't tell if it's them missing Alisson or the defense isn't as watertight as it's made to seem to be, because although they've been dominating all these games, they've been leaking goals. You know, I think they've conceded a goal in each of the games that they've actually played. So they look a little vulnerable on the back. Is just basically like, can you even score enough against them, because they're going to score. I mean, even in this game, Newcastle scored first. You know, they hit them early. It took them a while to get going. I don't know what their next schedule is, but they
I do have it here. So their next game, I'm gonna say top 6, because last season they were top 6. It's Chelsea. Right. After that, they have Leicester City, and then after that, they have Man U in the derby.
On the 20th, October 20th is when we play them.
So those are the next 3 games in the league.
I can see them, not to be biased, but I can see them potentially stumbling at Man United just because of the capacity of the game. It's a big rivalry, probably the biggest rivalry in English sports. Even when they were on their big run last year, they came to Old Trafford, they couldn't score. It was a 0-0 draw. So I think that potentially they could stumble, although they should be beating Man United in that game. For my sake, I hope the boys could come through. I think Chelsea will score goals against them, but they'll ultimately end up beating Chelsea.
Okay.
So I'd probably say maybe United. They'll probably stumble, but they
So you
look
don't
good.
think Leicester will give them a problem either?
That's you know what. James Madison, Tillymans. I can't always mess up his name. Tillymans. They've got a good team. But again, I don't know if they've got enough at the back to stop Liverpool. I think that one will probably be close for a little while, but Liverpool will probably open them up the same way they did like Newcastle and stuff like that. It's
And
probably,
so
probably a good game.
I could see them drawing at Chelsea just because Chelsea does have firepower, and you never know what Chelsea you're going to get. You're either going to get
Right.
a Chelsea that is going to be good one week or horrible the next. Chelsea could all of a sudden come up this game and actually draw or win by a fluke goal, which we've seen happen before. The Leicester game, that's a win all day for Liverpool.
Yeah.
The United game, again, that's the other one where you can't call it really until it's played.
Out.
And Harry Maguire is there, and Harry Maguire was what made Leicester's defense great. And you have to question, should Liverpool and City gone after Maguire to shore up their defense?
It's a good question.
To make them take them up that one step, since they do have the money. They did have the money to go after him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could see that United game being a draw or a win for United.
So on paper, you say that Chelsea is kind of a question mark, and then Leicester is just a W for Liverpool.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so you guys are kind of in the same boat. Justin sees Liverpool winning against Chelsea, but like we all know, we don't know what's going to happen. And Lampard's doing a pretty decent job so far. I expected a little bit worse. I expected a lot of fumbles at the beginning, but he is carrying the ship pretty afloat right now on the EPL seas. So that was that. Liverpool wins 3-1. Still haven't been really tested. I believe they only have one clean sheet in the first 5 games that they played. Mm-hmm. And we'll see what happens the next match day. And we go to Justin's gonna like this one. Man United 1, Leicester City 0. So Justin, my question to you is, what positives did you take from the match?
Definitely the defense. It was solid. Harry Maguire is just it's like he'd been born to play for Man United, man. He was marshalling things. I think he had a little bit more motivation because he was playing against his old team, but he just looks the part, man. Lindelof played a good game. Wan-Bissaka's out there. Ashley Young for about 20 minutes looked like he could play. You know what I mean? But my biggest positive was definitely the defense, because they definitely had more possession than we did. And then late in that second half, they were creating a lot of opportunities. But the defense never looked like they were really ready to concede. De Gea made a crazy save. I believe it was at the end of the second half, I think, or the end of the first half, I'm sorry, where he made a save. He's starting to look a little bit like himself again. But we still lack quality in the final third. We're not really taking too much chances. Rashford's kind of like up and down right now. We know we got injuries. No Martial, no Pogba, no Luke Shaw, no Delot, no Bailly. So it's a big 3 points. So the positive for me is definitely the defense. They just signed Lindelof to another longer contract, so he's there till 2024. So the defense is locked up. And like what we were just saying, Liverpool, Chelsea, these teams are leaking goals. And I think maybe later on in the season, as things get, progressively more serious, a solid back line will probably help us out in the long run. And then we can see a lot of things change. So for me, for sure, the positives in that game, definitely the defense, for sure.
All right, good to hear. We'll see how they do this coming up weekend.
Come on, United! Let's go.
So with that being said, we move on to Sheffield
1-0, by the way. Rashford penalty. 1-0 Rashford penalty. Sorry, I didn't say the score or anything.
So the next game we had was Sheffield United and Southampton. Southampton runs away with the 1-0 win. Sheffield United got a red card in that game. Not sure if that made the game what it was, and got Southampton that win. Sheffield United started kind of good. Got a tie the last match day, and now they lost. So we'll keep an interesting eye on them and see if they can continue somewhat of a good form and not fall down onto the bottom 3. Brighton win and Burnley tie 1-1. And then we move on to what I think was an interesting game. I caught the highlights, and it was pretty intense. Chelsea versus Wolves, or Wolves versus Chelsea, however you want to call it. And Chelsea takes that one 5-2. My biggest take from it is that Tammy Abraham is shutting my mouth because I believe in one of the previous episodes, I did say that I didn't think he was going to be all that,
Right.
and he's kind of is.
Same here.
My question, to get to my point though, and my question is Tammy Abraham going to hit a wall like Morata did? Because Morata started, I believe it was last season, on fire, scoring, and then it just completely just stopped. Is Tammy Abraham gonna be better than that, or?
I'm gonna say yes. I think Alvaro was missing home. It's just a different style of play when you come from La Liga to the Premier League, and Tammy is a product of that Chelsea academy, and something that Frank knows very well. And who's Frank's assistant that actually was part of the academy?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure who he is.
I'm blanking, but he's part of the coaching staff as well, so they know their kids pretty well. So I don't think he will hit a wall eventually, and during the season I can bet, but I don't think he'll lose form. Morata was just something else. I think Alvaro just needed out. He just wasn't comfortable with the EPL. But I mean, you saw that first goal from Tammy Abraham in the 34th minute. We're like, Jesus Christ. And then going on, it's for a hat trick for him at such a young age, that it shows promise for him. And then Mason Mount also scoring. The kids are all right. It's Chelsea. But again, it's a Chelsea, as we were saying earlier, they're going to be up and down. They were not able to sign any players this summer, and they're not going to be able to do it in the winter either. They have that ban. So it's going to be one of those years. If they can make it into the top 6, I think that's going to be great for them. Questions, though. That defense is
one part. A lot of the defenses are suspect. But no, I to agree with Sal, I think Tammy, I don't know if he'll necessarily hit that type of wall that Alvaro hit. Alvaro's a little bit older, and I don't know if he had a shoulder like that to lean on at Chelsea. Tammy's, part of that youth system, and Lampard is doing similar to what Solskjaer is doing with United. He's just put a lot of faith in the youth. He brought in Mason Mount as well, another youth product. And I just think that hat trick against Wolves, who look bad, actually. They're not picking up points like we thought that they would. But a hat trick against anybody, will do you the world of confidence. And like you said, Mario, I was very critical of Tammy Abraham. I actually tweeted out that he was garbage. So I kind of want to apologize to you, Tammy. But that's what it's about, man, proving people wrong. And he's definitely put his head down. And, I mean, he banged a hat trick, man, and they were quality goals, to be fair to him. I mean, he did have an own goal in that game, kind of went off of his hand. I don't want to take anything from him, but, he kind of flopped a little bit there, but we won't go into that. But to answer your question, no, I don't think he'll hit a wall as far as stopping scoring completely, because Alvaro just completely disappeared.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, he's a young guy, so he'll probably dip in and out of form.
Yeah, it was funny. I was gonna bring up that point if you didn't mention it. He did score a goal for Wolves. So he's on a rampant scoring.
Right, can't stop scoring.
He doesn't know where to score sometimes. Right. But like you said, it wasn't really his fault. So like you mentioned, Wolves is not having the greatest start to this season, and they were touted to be top 6, maybe top 8.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Because right now a top 10 finish is even looking grim. So what changes do they need to make, if any, or do they need to get rid of the manager?
Well, I definitely don't want to say it's a manager. I think he's a really good manager. It just doesn't seem like they can find a net right now. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Raul Jimenez is not banging him in like I thought he would, although he doesn't seem to be really getting too much service either. I don't know. It just doesn't look like they've – now, you got to remember, too, they're in Europe, I believe, for the first time, too. So they've got Europa League. I
believe that starts tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. So they're going to be playing a little extra football than they're normally used to. So I'm not sure if it's, overlooking or, I'm really not sure. But they definitely don't look like I thought that they would look. They look a little overrun in midfield. Defense hasn't really been stepping up. Like I said, Jimenez is not hitting those goals. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It could be a combination of things, but they do not look good, and they're making my table look really bad. So I don't
Uh,
know.
I'm gonna say it's Europe. I think they're planning
Right.
Europa League, and it's just too much for them. They've never been in the in competition in how many years?
It's been a while.
It's been a
It's
while.
been a
Yeah.
while.
So it's plus I don't think Jimenez isn't scoring. It's just like Justin said. It's not. There's no service to him really coming in. He was banging them in for Mexico earlier, so we know he can do it.
You know that.
But I think once they get past these Europa League days and a couple more matches, we'll see them get back into form. If not, I mean, they better hope they don't get relegated.
They were
not get relegated
down there a couple seasons ago, and so I'm sure they're not looking forward to that if it gets close to it. So that was a good little take in on Chelsea and Wolves. Interesting game. 5 goals for Chelsea, 2 for Wolves. You can kind of say 1 for Chelsea in that regard, being that Tammy got the 1 of the 2 for them.
Can't stop scoring.
All right. Either way.
So now we move on to Tottenham and Crystal Palace. Tottenham runs away big time with this one. They win 4-0. And they're doing what they should be doing at the beginning of the season, to put it the best way I can. And then we have the biggest shocker of the weekend. It was Norwich City and Man City, and Norwich takes the 3 points with a 3-2 win. What's going on with Man City? Did they do something wrong, or was Norwich just on another level that day?
I think Norwich just pressed. Norwich pressed them, and they pressed them good. I don't think Man City was ready for that. I don't think Pep. I think Pep, when he preps for games, he preps for the teams that he's playing against. Mm-hmm. And really, he saw Norwich and he thought, okay, it's one of those lower table teams. I can just get through them easily. I have the players. I have the midfield that's going to run circles around these guys. That was not the case in this game, not at all. And we saw it come out, and they, excuse my language, but these fuckers had balls.
They played with a lot of passion out there, man. But like it's exactly like Sal says, I think that Guardiola preps for who he's playing. So not only did he see Norwich as the next team, but he sees Norwich, an injury depleted Norwich. Okay, so these are guys that you never expect to see. And I'm telling you, all 11 of those dudes went out there and played their hearts out. Their fullbacks were playing some great stuff. They had City pinned back on the counter. Buendia picking passes. And the boy, Timo Pukki, this guy, where did he come from? Is this guy, was he a championship player? This guy looks like a star. And just the way he plays, man, and they have no expectations. Like, I just want everything for them. And they played a game, and they showed, I think, a vulnerability to City that I think teams with better quality than Norwich can take advantage of, as far as the way that the fullbacks were stretching their fullbacks out. John Stones is, he's definitely got an error in him. And to go back to the point that Sal made about Guardiola prepping, he didn't start De Bruyne in this game. He had Jesus on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that he thought he was going to be able to rest, De Bruyne, come on, you know what I mean? And it wasn't the case. He had to bring him on just to create, those 2 goals that they ended up getting. I think they may have scored before he came on, but needless to say, like I said, one of his best players on the bench. Shows you what he thought of Norwich coming into that, especially with all the injuries they had.
I also think it's part of the defense, because you're missing Vincent Kompany, that was a steward for your defense. Then you have Laporte, who's also injured
for a long time. That's a long
you're seeing this Man City defense now really showing leaks. Mm-hmm. If they can fix it, we'll see Liverpool actually pass them, and by a good number of margin points. Where can they make it up is the question at that point. Or maybe Spurs, I'm hoping, doesn't pick up form and can pass them. But that, I'll go back to the point of Harry Maguire. Should a team in the top 2 had picked them up? Was there money for either City or Liverpool to say, hey, let's just buy Harry Maguire, add him to our defense. That way we can shore up the league and maybe Champions League at that as well. So to me, that defense for City is going to be suspect until they can somehow fix that leak. And we're going to see goals. And we're going to see teams that we were unexpectedly they would beat last year or the year before that just start steamrolling them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the whole defense thing because to me, Otamendi has never been a top player.
He's fading too. He's actually fading. He's getting worse.
Yeah, he's getting older. But he had that one spectacular season, so everybody thinks Otamendi is somewhat good or somewhat great. I never thought that at all. Argentina doesn't really produce great defenders. It's been a long time. The last one, I believe, well, for me, my opinion is Zanetti, but then again, that's a right back, so you can't really do much with Zanetti and Otamendi kind of comparing there. Ederson, I don't believe is a top keeper. He's good. He's definitely, it definitely goes to show why Brazil always starts with Alisson, because Ederson is not anywhere near Alisson's quality. And
I agree with that.
Guardiola, I'm pretty sure I haven't looked at the stats, but I'm sure they probably had possession. And their second goal came in the last minute or in the last like in stoppage time, I believe.
Yes.
So initially it could have been a 3-1 game at the end, but they kind of put a little bit of pressure on Norwich there, and it was what it was. So Man City stumbles, and all the other clubs that want to make the top six kind of got a glimpse of what they could do to maybe make Man City go lower and lower.
I'll throw out the headline that Forbes put out a few days ago. Otamendi and John Stones no better than Phil Jones and Chris Smalling.
There you go.
The Chuckle Brothers. Now that's a comparison, man.
So, I mean, if you want to, that speaks volumes right there. It speaks more volumes than anything.
Hey, they definitely looked like Chris Smalling and Jones out there that day. They definitely did. And just to throw some numbers for you, Mario, City had 69% possession, 25 shots to Norwich's 7 shots and 31% possession.
It's kind of like back then when he managed Barca and everybody's like, "Oh, possession's not going to win you games."
And we had possession. Yeah.
So that was a great shock, especially for Liverpool fans. As much as
they love it.
I don't want to make any more of that than I should.
Please don't.
Yeah, I won't. Don't worry. I'm not a big EPL fan, but I'm definitely not a big Liverpool fan. So then we move on, and we have Bournemouth 3 and Everton 1. Kind of a shocker. Everton had a great weekend the past one, and they they invite Bournemouth into their stadium, and they go ahead and lose 3-1. So that kind of a shocker that's another shocker, but out of the top 6 shocker.
They've got to be the most inconsistent good team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just can't explain it to you because it just doesn't make sense. I don't couldn't tell you, man.
And so now we move on to a big game in a sense, because it's top 6 team. We have Watford 2, Arsenal 2. Sal, I'm sure you're not excited about that. You do get away with a point. It kind of helps. What's your take on the whole game?
Defense.
Seems like there's a theme here.
There's a big theme this year in the EPL. I think it's great to see goals and attacking soccer, but I'm going to stress defense is what these teams should be out there grabbing. And yes, we're missing Bellerin and we're missing Tierney. But still, I mean, we talked before the show. David Luiz somehow, I don't know at Chelsea, it took him 150, 160 games to give up 4 penalties. It's taken him 6 games to give up 4 penalties. Somehow, it must be sabotagers.
I'm telling you, man, he went there to sabotage.
Or just old age at this point. But
no idea what he's doing out there.
I mean, you have a great front three, and I'll even admit I've had my things with Ozil in the past, but he had himself a good game. Ozil had one of those rare good games. When the second we went up 2-0, I thought, okay, game's over. Just play defense or just keep going, and we'll be great. But again, that Kolasinac, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. I mean, I can't say anything about Maitland-Niles. He's been all right, but Kolasinac and David Luiz, please somehow get rid of him somehow.
You want to talk about Chris Smalling and Phil Jones? Those guys are worse than them.
Worse than them, exactly. And oh man, I have no words. I have no words for just giving up those two dumb goals. It was really dumb goals.
So I did read on Twitter, or somebody said that Shaka got the full 90 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Do you think he should get less than that or none at all?
He should get 20 minutes. 20 minutes at 15 minutes. I mean, because that's Tierney's position, right? Left back.
Well, left back is
Bellerin, right?
Bellerin, yeah, Bellerin. That's Bellerin's position.
No, isn't Bellerin right back?
Bellerin's a right back, so yeah, you got Maitland-Niles covering for Bellerin.
Yeah.
And then
it is Tierney's position. I mean, the second Tierney comes back and he's fit, Syed isn't going to be seeing any minutes. I'm sorry, but he won't see any minute. He'll be, I don't know what his contract is, but he should be gone within the next year or two, most likely. But yeah, the second Tierney comes back, there's no need for him anymore.
Yeah, I definitely would. When he got signed by Arsenal, I definitely thought he was going to help out more than what he's actually doing on the pitch. He was pretty decent. I believe he was playing in the Bundesliga.
Believe so, yeah.
And he was touted pretty well in that league, but I guess the Bundesliga you could say is a lot different from what the EPL brings. So the theme continues, defense. And like Sal said, we love goals, but sometimes we don't want our team to let them in. And so that's that. The 2-2 tied for Arsenal and Watford. They both run away with a point. And then the last match of match day 5 was Aston Villa and West Ham. West Ham, again, cannot find the back of the net. Neither did Aston Villa. 0-0 tie, a red card to West Ham. Not much to say about that.
Don't worry, West Ham's fans will sort that out by the time. If they don't fix something soon, those fans at West Ham, they'll take care of that.
It's a beautiful club. It's just they let go of a lot of firepower.
You're not replacing anything either.
Yeah, it's just, and that Masuaku.
I'm not gonna try it.
I can't. Well, I can't remember
We'll let you do the name.
It's the left back for West Ham. He's the one that got the red card. He's another problem there for West Ham. He's been very hot and cold since he's got there.
Yeah.
So that leaves match day 5, and then we'll look forward to match day 6 and see any interesting games, and then we'll find a prediction. We do have Leicester City and Tottenham on the 21st of September.
No,
what do you guys predict?
2-1 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham. Sal.
2-2 draw.
I'm going to go with Sal on that one. 2-2 draw.
Okay.
And then, Norwich had the shocker this past weekend. Let's see if we can predict. Are they going to blow it against Burnley, or are they going to run away with the 3 points?
Oh, Timo Pukki, 2-0. Let's go.
I would say 2-1.
2-1. I'll say 2-0. I like the 2-0. And we at least all have 2 goals in that for Norwich in that game, so that's not bad. And then Man City and Watford, they pick up the 3 points after that disappointing weekend that they just had.
Watford's getting smacked 3-0.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 5-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 5-0 as well. I just think Man City is just mad after that one, and we're gonna see everyone out playing.
All right, Justin, we'll do this one for you. Man United versus West Ham.
I have faith. I think the boys got some confidence now. Hopefully, we can get some finishing. I'm gonna go 2-1 United. Man United.
I'm surprised that you even said that West Ham's going to score when being that they barely find the net. So
yeah, but the teams that barely find a net, they find a net against us.
Okay.
2-1 Man United.
2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 as well.
2-1. All right. I'm going to say 1-1.
Oh God, I'd hate that.
You would, but from what you just told me, I'm gonna,
right.
I'm gonna go with that. And then we have here we go, Sal. For you, we have Arsenal and Aston Villa.
I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-1.
2-1 Arsenal.
Ooh. I'm gonna say 2-2 again.
Oh,
I can see it though.
And then for the last game, it's actually a pretty decent one. We brought it up earlier. It's Chelsea and Liverpool. What do we got there, fellas?
Ooh, isn't Tammy out injured after
I think
the Champions League, right? Yeah.
He might be hurt. I'm not sure if that's the case.
Oof.
Which, by the way, we'll be doing Champions League tomorrow. Okay, next.
Ooh, I'm gonna give it
Tough one.
I'm gonna give it 2-2. I can see the draw.
I was gonna go draw as well, but no Tammy. Liverpool could really run off with this. Is this in Anfield?
Let me check.
No, it's at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I believe it is.
God, I hate giving Liverpool any props. 3-2 Liverpool.
By the way, before I give my prediction, there's a 49% chance that Liverpool wins, a 25% chance that Chelsea wins, and a 25% chance that it's a draw. My prediction, I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool now that Tammy's not going to shoot the ball into the net like he has been. So Liverpool continues on their unbeaten streak so far theoretically speaking, in the Premier League. Now we'll go over our corrupt EPL table. How bad are we doing? How good are we doing? Let's see, because I know for a fact that I'm doing completely horrible.
Let me pull out my.
I think
I might as well just donate it already to whoever was betting against me. I guess that's not really donating it, but
What's funny is that my top four is actually complete opposites of what the table is. Like, I had City 1, I had Liverpool 2, is Liverpool 1, Man City 2. Then I had Man United 3, Spurs 4. It's Spurs 3, Man United 4. Everton wants to go ahead and just keep ruining things for me. So I'm not. Then who's the fifth? Leicester. Leicester's in fifth. 6 is Chelsea. 7 Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, I have Liverpool at least in first, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, you already started out better than me,
right? So.
But City, Arsenal, and Spurs after that.
Ugh. Yeah. And for those of you that don't have the table right in front of your face, in first we do have Liverpool. Second we have Man City. Third, Tottenham. Fourth, Man United. They have a Champions League spot right there. So can they keep it? That's the question.
That's a big question.
5, we have Leicester City. 6, Chelsea. 7, Arsenal. 8, West Ham. 9, Bournemouth. 10, Southampton. 11, Everton. Disappointing. 12, Crystal Palace. 13, Norwich City. They moved out of the bottom 3, I believe, after that win. 14, Burnley. 15, Sheffield United. 16, Brighton. 17, Aston Villa. Hold on, Guardiola water break.
All right, Pep. Your hands a lot.
Still a little bit hoarse. 18, Newcastle. 19, Wolves.
Shocking.
So very shocking. And 20, we have Watford.
Dude, none of my relegated teams are in there.
I have Newcastle at least in 18.
Yes.
Right. I didn't. I freaking went to bat for Newcastle too, man.
I have Newcastle at 18, 19 Southampton, and 20 Brighton. So the only one I have is Newcastle.
I have Brighton in 19 and 20 Southampton. So we're just flipping on those right there. But I think we did have the first manager fired already.
We did.
We
It's like
did.
we got all. I think the three of us got that wrong, right?
We did. Who the hell did I say was going to get fired? Did I guess? I don't remember that.
I guess Steve Bruce. And
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
You got sacked.
fuck.
To be fair, listen, my top four is essentially the same top four as the league. It's just different order. I think I should get a half a point for,
Well, in my top four, I have actually three that are in it and one that's missing out. The one that's missing out for me is I have Tottenham in fifth. They're actually in third. And then Man United, I had third, and they're in fourth. So they're pretty close. So,
Right.
Yeah.
but I do have Man City and Liverpool flip flop than what they actually are.
Same.
So,
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to keep an eye on that as the season goes on.
Yeah, it is. But so far, we didn't start too good.
No.
Like,
Still got 30-something games.
That's why it's predictions, so
Yeah.
we can't really get too crazy.
I mean, if the defenses keep being suspect for every team, then none of us are going to be good at the end of this damn table.
Yeah. So since we still have a little bit of time, we can go over some stats. We'll go over the top 5 goals leaders, I guess you can say, in the league, assist, and then don't really care about yellow or red cards, so just so goals we have Sergio Aguero from Man City with 7, the man Tammy Abraham from Chelsea with 7 as well. In third, we have Timu from Norwich City with 6. And then in tied for, I guess, fourth, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Arsenal with 5, and Raheem Sterling from Man City with 5 as well.
He was my golden boot winner, Sterling.
Who was? Sterling?
Yeah.
In here, Sterling.
I believe I said Kane. I don't recall.
I have Kane. Yeah, you're right. I have Kane.
You had Kane as your golden boot, right? So
yeah. You know what? It'd be funny if Pookie actually comes out winning that golden boot.
Man, I'd actually take that. I'd actually love to see him win that, man.
If he does come out with the golden boot, you can definitely see him in a different team next season.
There was a stat somewhere that he has just as many last-minute goals as Ronaldo does somewhere.
Oh yeah, I definitely have to look into that. I have to look into that stat because that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, definitely is.
For sure. But as far as the assists go, who did I think I had Pogba as my player of the year. He's nowhere near any of the assist stuff. So
my player of the year is Rashford. How am I looking there, Jess?
It's not looking good for you, man. Player,
not the news.
Not player of the year wise. Not player.
Here's the thing, Justin, that I want to say. We do have the winner, the winner transfer. Does Pogba leave in the winner?
I doubt it.
Doubt it.
I think if he does leave, it'll be this summer coming up.
All right.
I think honestly, I think there's a chance that he actually could stay long term. It's a small chance, but I think that he could stay long term. But if he does leave, he's out this summer for sure.
Do you think a Champions League spot will keep him though?
It's possible. He came to win, and we're not doing that. So if we could take strides from here to January, depending on what the team's trajectory is, I think that Ali could convince him to stay because Ali, I think he could build a winner. He's done the right things. Like he's done things as far as getting rid of players, going with the youth, targeting the right pieces that we need. We haven't had a player on the right since before Fergie left. Now we have a right back that can actually play right back. And now the rumors are true. If we can pull off Sancho in one of these next 2 summers, then the right side is sold up. You know what I mean? And if we can build a team, I think we could keep Pogba. But the jury's still out on that. I don't know. We're Jekyll and Hyde. We're like Everton almost. We don't know who's going to show up. Is it going to be a good United, bad United, inconsistent United, goal-scoring United, no goal-scoring United, goal-leaking United? It's just a lot. We're a young team, so it's going to be – I'm confident, though.
Well, so far you're top 4, so –
yeah, right where we want to be. You told me, hey, after 5 matches, Justin, you'll be in the top 4. Would you take it? Damn right. I'll give you my pinky for that. Well, actually, no, maybe a little piece of my pinky, but not the whole thing.
That's a little bit gruesome there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll take it. And then so we have those goal leaders so far through 5 match days, and we do have the assists, the playmakers, I guess you could say, for each team. Top five, we have Kevin De Bruyne from Man City with 5, David Silva from Man City with 4. So as you can tell, Man City can score, but they can't get 3
A
points.
lot of creativity as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then tied for a second actually is Emi Buendia, which you brought up just earlier in the pod. From Norwich City, he has 4, so he's tied with David Silva. And then in fourth, I guess since Emi is considered third, we have Roberto Firmino from Liverpool with 3. And then number 5, well, we have a ton of
There's
5s.
a ton of 5s. There's actually
A
three
ton of 5s.
Norwich players with 2 assists. Look at that. You got
Pookie
Peter
and Cantwell.
and Eric Peters. And the boy Pogba's on there too.
Your boy Pablo, and I was gonna say my boy Danny Ceballos is in there as
Hey.
well. So it's good to see that he's somewhere in some type of
Yeah,
ranking in the
Right.
Premier League.
Looks like it's going to be a good little race to see who creates the most this year.
Yeah.
Which is good.
But so far, Man City kind of top dog. Just with 2 players, they already have 9 altogether. And then you got Riyad Mahrez, so that's 11 right there if you had his 2. So they score. If the thing is, Liverpool just keeps winning, so
Yep. Something
not really helping them.
that to change up. So
At least, if anything, they can win the trophy for most possession. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's so we'll go back to transfer uh, hypotheticals and whatnot. So you think Pogba there's a small chance he stays, but what would you say makes him stay? Like besides building a team and Champions League, like because Madrid is the destination most likely. They offer Champions League. They don't really offer wins nowadays. So would you say that if they sign other players as well, that they build a team like you said, that helps him stay?
Definitely. I mean, building the team, getting players in that are going to make a difference. Like I said, like I mentioned, Sancho, like people that can make a difference. Just an overall plan and an actual goal that seems attainable. I think it could keep them. And then money, of course, we got that. You know what I mean? We'll give them a good contract to stay. But you know, Pogba's a product of the Man United Youth Academy. You know what I'm saying? We produced Pogba basically, and I think he came back for the right reasons because he had a chance to go to Madrid or Barca before he came back to Man United, and he didn't. So I think that he definitely wanted to be here. Things didn't work out the way that they should have, clearly, because he obviously hinted that he wanted to leave. But again, I think that if things are going in the right direction, we're winning games. We've got players on the books getting ready to come in. We start winning games. We get in the Champions League. We finish strong in the season. We maybe win a cup or 2 this year. I'm not guaranteeing that he stays, but if Man United does everything possible, win, pay him. I mean, I'm okay with it. Like if we gave every shot to keep him and he leaves, then he leaves. But I think those are the things that will go towards keeping him for sure.
Yeah. And I don't really like to speak on this subject because it raises a lot of eyebrows or whatnot, but he is the subject of racist attacks. And
All the time.
though racism is probably never gonna be rid of, but I definitely agree that it shouldn't be in the game. Like let the races be the races, just don't bring it anywhere towards us because we're trying to enjoy a product and you're kind of ruining it, and it's not only hurting the game, but it's hurting the player on a personal level.
For sure.
Would you say if that is a continuous issue for Pogba in the Premier League, will that kind of be something that can definitely push him away?
I doubt it, man. He played in Italy, so you know what I mean. I doubt that. And you see all the things that are going on in Italy with Lukaku. I mean, I think an Italian journalist just got fired because he said to slow down Lukaku, we just have to give him 10 bananas or something like that. Something crazy like that. So I don't think the racist stuff would be a reason for him to leave, because anywhere else he's going, he's going to deal with that. He goes to Spain, he's going to deal with that. Goes back to Italy, he's definitely going to deal with that. England, he's got to deal with it too. I say it's probably the lesser of all the evils in England, maybe, but I don't think that that's an issue. I mean, it's definitely an issue as far as the racism, but I don't think racism would be a reason that he wants to leave United.
Okay. Well,
Even our fans are pretty
I
racist.
would say that Italy takes the cake in that one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I would probably say England after that, because that's what we've heard mostly. It's always been
English,
recently,
yeah.
at least recently in the news, it's been Italy, the Serie A, and now Pogba. And I believe didn't someone else in the Premier League, or like another player from Man United, or was it just I probably misread something?
I thought it was an Everton player, wasn't it?
Well, Rashford got abused
for missing that.
Yeah, for missing a penalty. Tammy
Yeah.
Abraham got abused as well. And I think there was a Everton player, so I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
But I mean, I don't know if that's something. Like I said, I don't think it's something that will cause a player to leave, just because of it's like an epidemic right now. Like that's what we're covering. Like, oh, somebody does something bad, they're gonna get racial abuse, and I think it's a lot of just trolls trying to get attention and draw attention to it. But it's definitely an issue. It's been an issue in the game since forever,
Yeah.
And now we got all these social avenues, so it's easier to get and hear what was said. You could see what was being done. Bananas being thrown at players. We've seen it all, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets away from the game. I don't believe it'll ever be eradicated, unfortunately, but if we can get it away from the game, from at least the beautiful game, the world game, it'd be a step forward, because it is the world game. It's a big platform, so it could lead to other walls being broken down. But we'll leave it there. It was very interesting talks we just had. A great match day 5, and we'll see how next week when we talk about match day 6, if our predictions on those scores were correct. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, Jess and Sal, for again holding it down. And tomorrow we're going to bring the Champions League. The first 2 days, the group stages. For me, I'm going to give you a preview. It was horrible. But I'll get into that tomorrow.
I'll play on Thursday, so we don't have any input.
Yeah, we don't have any. Yeah, our input's done.
Actually, tomorrow I'm sick, so it's gonna be FieldTalk, Just and Sal. I just came down with the cold. No, just kidding. But I hope you guys have a great morning, a great afternoon, or night whenever you're watching this. And I hope you enjoy the show. Drop a like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because we have a lot more content coming. Everybody, you guys have a great night. Thank you again, Jess. Thank you, Sal. And we'll talk again soon.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.